Hi book lovers, it's Jenny at Julia Baby Jen, and this is my favorite dystopian books from 2016. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about my favorite dystopians I read in 2016. I have a short list for you, and let's go ahead and get going on it. 5 to 1 by Holly Bodger. This is a very short book I picked up from the library for a short books readathon I was participating in. I never heard of it, and I just happened to see it and thought, oh, that's a short book. I will try it. So this takes place in a futuristic India, and this is a dystopian society. It's a matriarch society. It's called 5 to 1 because there's 5 boys for every girl in the society. So it's kind of flipped. Most like China or places like that in the past, it's been, you know, one girl for every 5 boys because of their population control practices. And so in this world, boys are considered pretty worthless and girls are esteemed and held up, and they hold all the money, they run everything, they're the shit, I guess. So in this world, they actually have competitions to weed out the prospective suitors for a girl, and she like has 5 boys that compete for her hand, basically. It's written in prose, which made it so beautiful. It's such an interesting book. It's so unusual, and I really enjoyed it, way more than I thought I would. So this was a really fun one. Creation by Kat Mellon. This is actually a novella that I read, and it's a standalone, and it was really interesting. I really liked it, and I would really love it if she expanded this world and wrote a series on it. I think it'd be really good. So this is a dystopian future. It follows this girl who is a writer, and she lives in this school or whatever that everybody produces things. There's writers, there's dancers, there's singers, there's musicians, basically anything creative. There's all these people that live there and produce this stuff, but it's very controlled. They're expected to work on this stuff and then hand it over. And basically it's very, like they don't really know a lot outside of what they do. So it was a really kind of interesting premise. It took me a little while to understand exactly what was going on and where it related, but it's a really cool idea. I really liked it, and it was a really fun novella. This year I read the second and third books in the Rebel Wing trilogy by Tracy Bangert. I read Stormfall and Torn Sky. Stormfall is the second book. The Rebel Wing trilogy is about a girl named Eris, who is actually a fighter pilot. She flies jets, and she's an amazing pilot. She lives in a place that's secluded. They're in this middle of this war against another territory right next to theirs that's been going on forever, and she's pretty far removed from it. Then her boyfriend Calix is, when they're turned 18, he's recruited for the military, and he leaves her, and she's devastated. She is actually recruited by the military herself for a secret project. Basically, women are not allowed to fight, but there is a small division who are secretly sending women into the military. They are changing them to look like men. They change their voice. They have technology that makes them look like a boy. And she decides to go ahead and join this regiment. So she becomes part of the military as well. So it's her story as being a boy in the military, trying to find Calix and what all this war and this means. And it's a really interesting story. Stormfall and Torn Sky pick up where it's left off, and basically at the end, I don't want to give away any spoilers, I'm sorry. I can't really tell you a lot about Stormfall and Torn Sky without giving away the end of the Rebel Wing, which is really good story. So I do recommend these. These are really fun reads. I read the conclusion to Article 5 this year. It's a trilogy, dystopian trilogy, and I read 3. And it was a really good ending. I really enjoyed this one. In this dystopian world, it takes place in the United States, but the Constitution has been thrown out, and they have a new thing called the Moral Statutes, and it's basically kind of a religious group that's taken over our country. And they have different articles that basically are against the law, and if you're caught, you get taken away. It's not fines or anything. You get arrest trials and all kinds of terrible things. People who get arrested don't usually come back, so it's just not a good thing to be caught with any of this stuff. A lot of it is things like no, you can't divorce, certain things against women. I mean, there's all kinds of things. It's a very strict moral code. And it follows a girl named Ember. Ember and her mother gets taken away, and she also gets taken away because she throws such a fit when her mother gets taken away, and so she gets sent to one of these schools, and it's terrible, and she's getting slapped and beaten, and the boys who guard the girls are just not very nice to them at all. It's terrible. Well, her old boyfriend or friend, childhood friend from a long time ago, Chase, who actually got recruited into the military and she hasn't heard from for years, actually breaks her out and is taking her to find her mother, and he's deserting the army to do this. And it's a very interesting relationship because she's never forgiven him for leaving her, and he's completely changed. And they're not close by any means, but she does team up with him because she does want to get out of there and find her mother. And it's their journey from there. It changes, their relationship changes a whole bit. There's lots of things going on, but yeah, it's a really interesting story. I really liked this. And then another dystopian trilogy I completed was the Bane trilogy, or the Eden trilogy by Carrie Taylor. So I read the third book, which is The Eve, and this was so good. So this world is another futuristic world, and basically something has come out called Torbane. It's a technology that has been developed, and it's supposed to regenerate your body. So if you are sick or dying or there's something wrong with you, you can be given the Torbane and it will regenerate. Or if like you're blind, it'll fix your eyes, that kind of thing. Well, it gets out of control. Basically, it takes over the human body. It took over the human body and turned these people basically into the Bane, which are basically robots. And all their goal is to spread the Bane technology. So they're like evil robots that as soon as they touch you, you've been given the Bane and you will turn. So this takes place several years after the huge apocalypse and the whole outbreak. A girl named Eve, who are following in this, and she lives with this ragtag group of people who are surviving on the land. There's like 30 of them, and they're surviving on the land. And while she's out one day, she finds this boy named West. He joins there, and it turns out he's someone who's very close to the whole Torbane process and everything. So it kind of develops from there, and I don't want to give too much away, but at this point in the story, she's a very kick-ass girl through the whole thing. She's kind of their main military soldier, and she's incredibly smart and strong. But I guess I should mention one thing is when she was found by this group that took her in when she was, I guess she was 13 or whatever when they found her, and she has no memory up until that point, but they found her covered in blood and naked, and that's all that they know about her. So they named her Eve, and she lives with them. So this is all about her fighting about her past as well. So it's a really amazing story. This one really was heartbreaking but really good. So I really enjoyed this trilogy. And that is my favorite dystopian reads that I read in 2016. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite reads were this year, if you read any good dystopians and or PA novels. And if you read any of these and want to talk about them, I'd love to do that as well. I hope everyone has a good day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.